You know what's so sad about this black people don't tip conversation is the audacity to treat the servers bad and not tip.
Then they said you gave great service at the end of the night. The bill, $400. The tip, $2.
I've been in this industry for quite some time. I used to serve, bartend back in New York, all over. All groups don't tip.
You know what I'm tired of? I am tired of the black community and the lack of accountability that comes with it. Apparently, saying black people don't tip is now considered a dangerous stereotype, a racist lie, and some type of unjustified attack. Except it's not entirely. And honestly, I wasn't even planning on getting into this. But the second someone tells the truth to the black community, the deflection starts. And every single time, here comes the same tired excuse. But what about white people? Or white people don't tip either. This is the worst. It gets under my skin when black people try to deflect all of their unaccountability onto white people. Just say you don't want to be corrected and go, because white dysfunction does not cancel out black dysfunction, and that mindset is exactly why we stay stuck. So let's stop playing stupid. The stereotype exists because a lot of black people, especially servers, have lived it. And if you're ever in a restaurant, you already know I worked in restaurants. Waiting on black people can be a nightmare. Some of the worst customers to serve, period. They come in loud, they start barking orders, act like the restaurant owes them something, and then leave nothing, maybe $1 if that. These are the water with lemon people, the ones who want their wings fried hard, all flats. Steak medium well done, not too pink, not too burnt. They nitpick at every single thing. You forget one sauce and they act like you just cursed their grandma out. And even when you try to fix it, the tip is still gone. The truth is, a lot of them weren't tipping in the first place. And no, they don't just treat white servers like that. The black servers can get it too. This is not about race. This is about behavior. It's about a mindset. And a lot of people in our community don't value anything outside of themselves, especially the community. They don't value it at all. They walk around with this fake shield of racial protection like nobody's allowed to hold them accountable, because the second someone says something, they just cry racism. You guessed it. It's manipulative, it is pathetic, and quite frankly, it is played out. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to look at some videos, react to the madness, and break down why this stereotype isn't just mean, it is earned. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Carmen Jaycee, and let's get into it.
So a lot of people are talking about black folks at restaurants lately, not tipping, being demanding and all that. And I'm not offended. Honestly, I got some PTSD from it. Back in college, I worked at Red Lobster. I was a great server, man. I loved it. It was fast-paced, kept my mind sharp, made good money most nights. One night, they gave me a big one, a 12-top, a black family. Took up my whole section and my whole shift. I mean, I gave them amazing service. I gave them, refills, extra biscuits. Y'all know you like all biscuits. And everything was on point. Then they said, you gave great service at the end of the night. The bill, $400. The tip, $2, y'all, $2. And I'll be real, that broke my heart. I still feel that moment sometimes, because it's true. It's a stereotype, yeah, but it's a pattern, and we got to talk about it. Black folks, y'all got to do better in restaurants. You tip your Uber Eats and your DoorDash to drop your food off on your porch, but when someone's actually touching your food in real time, checking on you, keeping your night smooth, you give them $2 or no tip at all. Come on now. You have to be good to people handling your food in real time, because you never know, you might get some extra little sauce you didn't ask for. Something to think about. And yes, tipping is part of the culture. If you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat out. Do better.
This guy right here, he is literally all of us. And honestly, I feel bad for him. You can hear it in his voice. He's like, sometimes it still hurts my feelings. And I believe him, because it does hurt. These are your people, and they have zero respect for your work you just put in to make them feel comfortable. And let's not lie, nobody wants the black table. In the back, servers are negotiating like it's a hostage situation. Please, it's your turn. I took them last time. Why? Because everyone knows what comes with it. This is not about a stereotype anymore. This is about a reality. You walk in 12 deep, order the whole damn menu, and somehow not even $1 per person. You can't leave a $12 tip on a $300 bill. That is absolutely embarrassing. I am embarrassed for you. But to be clear, this is not just about tipping. This is about something much deeper happening in the black community, and that's living outside of our means. Always trying to look like we've got it when we really don't. You see the Gucci, the Louis, the Prada, but not a dime to spare for the person who just served your table for 2 hours. You know why? because the money was never there to begin with. Half of these folks are scraping together coins just to be seen, just to post a pic, just to feel important for the night. And I'm going to go ahead and say the part that nobody wants to say out loud. A lot of these people are coming straight off of Section 8, EBT, and government assistance. But you never know, because the appearance is the only thing that matters. The outfits are expensive, the attitude is loud, but the values are non-existent. It's not about ownership. It's not about respect. It's about validation. And let's not ignore the psychological root of all this. As much as Black people scream about hating white people, deep down they love doing what white people do. And that's the gag. They want to eat in the same restaurants, shop at the same stores, live in the same neighborhoods, and then brag about it like it's success. Meanwhile, they're barely making it. And that tip, it gets left behind because the illusion costs too much to maintain. But maybe this guy was just a one-off. Maybe it was just a bad night. So let's go ahead and look at the next clip. Take a listen.
So I was reading some comments under a few of my videos recently, and it went along the lines of your kind is the ones, to not tip 900 times out of 10. You Blacks don't know how to tip. That's a Black for you. Just a lot of comments negatively relating to tipping and Black people. I've been in this industry for quite some time. I used to serve, bartend back in New York, all over. All groups don't tip. I feel like there's been a heavy stereotype placed over the Black community when it comes to tipping. And a lot of times, you servers, bartenders, you guys go into your tables, these situations with this preconceived idea that someone's not going to tip you based off their skin color. And you don't realize how that actually might negatively affect how you take care of the table, which then affects your actual tip. You might think you're not doing anything, but your thought process, the things that you're thinking, is affecting how you actually take care of the guest. Opposed to someone else, you look at them and you think, oh, because they're not Black, oh, they're going to tip me, whatever. You act differently. For example, I posted a video to my Instagram a couple months ago around my birthday. My friends and I, literally, the video was just this. We were just walking into a restaurant. It's a bunch of Black people walking into a restaurant. One of my friends wasn't Black in the video, but comments started coming in saying, oh, make sure y'all tip also because y'all never tip. You don't even know us. Y'all don't even know us. Y'all are looking at a video of people just walking into a restaurant, and you automatically assume that we don't know how to tip or we don't tip. That's not cool. So I don't know. What are y'all thoughts?
He asked for my thoughts, so here are my thoughts. The reason why people say Black people don't tip isn't because they're just picking on us. It's not because of racism. It is not because of anti-Blackness. It's because of the pattern has proven itself over and over again. This is not about race. This is about behavior. What most people are judging in this country is the content of your character. And to be blunt, the content of a lot of Black people's character is trash. Unfortunately. Now, yes, some of us do tip. I tip. But for real, though, that is just the surface. What is really being exposed is the lack of integrity within the Black community, Black people knowing that tipping is optional, and that's exactly why they don't feel the need to do it. If no one is forcing them, no one is watching, they're not going to show respect. That is not a financial thing. That is a moral issue. And let's not lie. Servers just do not want the Black table. I do not want the Black table because it is not just the tip. It is the whole experience. It is the 10 drink refills, the attitude, the constant complaints, the food being sent back half eaten, and then the expectations that somebody should pay for it. It's the drama, and everyone knows it. Okay, we're tired of being ran around like we are literal slaves. And here's what I really just want to get to. It's always the well-behaved Black people trying to make excuses for the ones who act like fools, the ones who tip, the ones who show respect to service workers, the ones who show up with a class, constantly defending the ones who don't. Instead of calling it what it is, a behavior crisis, we start yelling racism like that explains away everything. But guess what? It doesn't. Racism is done. The card is maxed out. That excuse is tired. And this is no longer systemic oppression. This is degeneracy. It is self-inflicted, and Black people are the ones indulging in it and then getting mad when somebody finally says it out loud. If you don't want to be judged, fix the behavior because everybody sees it. White people see it. Latinos, other Black people see it, and we're not lying to ourselves about it any longer. Fix it. Let's look at the next person. Take a listen.
You know what's so sad about this black people don't tip conversation is the audacity to treat the service bad and not tip. Y'all, everybody can't be lying. You can't treat people bad, not pay people right, and even be surprised when even your own don't want to be bothered with you. And it's not too much. You know you have it. Stop the money rituals. Stop the vision boards. Stop the prayer lines. You get what you give. This is just as much a part of abundance as anything else. And I know someone is going to call me old and ugly and a tether, but I've been at this long enough to know that that usually means you know I'm right. And you're too proud to admit it. I mean, treating people right and paying people their due has kind of been our thing. Did we lose the plot somewhere? Or was it other people were supposed to be kind to us? They were supposed to pay us right, but not the other way around? If the older generations did their job, auntie, pop, we wouldn't even be having this conversation in 2025. Not all, it's enough.
Now, she said it and she's not wrong. We really have lost the plot. Black Americans used to be some of the kindest, warmest, most gracious people you'll ever meet. We were giving, we were loving, we were God-fearing. We believed in dignity and family and respect, even when we didn't have much. And now we've turned into the very thing that we say that we hate. We cry about being judged. We cry about being disrespected. We cry about being stereotyped. But look at the behavior. How are we demanding dignity when you're out here disrespecting everyone you interact with, from the servers to the manager to the strangers on the internet who dare to speak the truth? You can't be nasty to people and not tip. You can't walk into a space entitled, rude, combative, and broke and then cry victim when people call it out. At a certain point, it is not a stereotype, it is a reputation. And here's the deeper point that she made that needs to be said louder. We're dealing with generational rot. A lot of what we're seeing today, the entitlement, the aggression, the emotional instability, didn't come out of nowhere. It came from the fact that the whole generation stopped teaching us how to act. And let's go even deeper. A lot of that generation was destroyed by the crack era. Let's just tell the truth. We are the kids and the grandkids of addiction and dysfunction and absent parents, incarcerated fathers, broken homes, government dependency, and chemically altered brains. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I am not saying that everybody is a crack baby. I am not a crack baby, but I am saying that that did happen and we probably are seeing some of the effects. And our behavior, our mindset, our ability to show up in the world with decency. Literally, we are not doing it. So no, nobody is lying in when they say black people don't tip. They're reacting to what they're seeing. And when the behavior matches the stereotype, the excuses no longer work. We become bitter, cold, disrespectful, and then we attack anyone who says it out loud. But the truth doesn't care if you're offended. And at this point, playing victim only makes it worse. Let's see about the next person. Hopefully we make some progress. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Okay, black people at restaurants. As a server who has served for the last however long years, I don't want to say black people don't tip, but I will say black people are unforgiving. Like from the moment, like it starts in the parking lot, like where they're able to find parking. When they come into the hostess, did the hostess greet them in the way that they wanted to be greeted? Did they have to wait? Okay. Like all those things before you even touch the table determines how it's going to go down with black people. If you say you don't have something, like I used to work at a restaurant and some of the restaurant chains had alcohol, but our particular restaurant didn't have alcohol. And they just thought that we did. And I said, I'm sorry, man, we don't actually serve alcohol here. That was it for the rest of the day. That was it. They were done. Like it was nothing I could say, like it was done. So I'm like, but I didn't do that though. Like you just assumed that we had alcohol. Anyways, mind you, we're a breakfast spot, but whatever. So black people are unforgiving. If the food even takes longer than they think it should take, like, and that's what I'm saying, being a server, like, I don't even know how do you explain this to people. Like if there's 4 steaks on the table and they compare themselves, but they really compare themselves to white people. So like if a white couple gets their meals before them, like how did they get their meals? Well, that's because the white couple ordered bacon and eggs and grits with a biscuit, and y'all ordered 4 steaks, all well done. Like what the fuck? Like, so you have to know how to operate with black people. I don't treat them any differently, but what I will say for larger groups of black people, I run the show. If you're a server, you cannot let black people run the show. If it's a group of 10 people, who's on the same tab? Because those are the orders I'm taking first. Don't you're not going to tell me we're going to start down here. I'm going to tell you where we're going to start. And you also have to be proactive. Make sure they have everything at the table beforehand. Make sure with those type of tables, I run my food like I'm on it. I'm on it. Anyways, I say all that to say is that it's not that Black people don't tip, it's that they're very unforgiving.
Now, this one right here, she hit the head on the nail, because when it comes to Black people tipping, it is just not about the server. It is about everything, the whole experience, the vibe, the mood, the temperature in the room, whether the host said hi loud enough, whether the forks were rolled right, whether they found parking in the parking lot. Every little thing gets added to this invisible checklist. And if anything feels off, even if you had nothing to do with it, the tip is done. Black people will complain for 20 minutes about a steak, demand all kind of free stuff, and have very little regard for how loud and disruptive they're being in the restaurant. They'll drag the waitress just for forgetting ranch, but won't even blink at a child running barefoot, screaming, throwing silverware. You want the perfect experience while giving zero effort back. And you know what that is? That is entitlement. And that entitlement is rooted in something deeper. Black Americans have a deep, unspoken need to be accepted by society, and not just any society, white society. And as much as we scream about oppression and anti-Blackness, we crave validation from the very people we claim to hate. And when we don't feel like we're being treated the exact same as them, even if we show up late, loud, and rude, the first thing we do is scream racism. Oh, the white lady got her food first. Yeah, because she ordered first. You came in with 10 people, still looking at the menu, asking for all of these substitutions and whispering about splitting plates. This isn't about race. This is about reality. And the part nobody wants to say is we don't want to earn respect. We want to demand it no matter how we behave. So what do? We perform, we overcompensate, we flex, we fake. And the second someone calls it out, they're all of a sudden racist. No, they're not racist. That's called consequences for your action. That's called reputation. That's called truth. Okay? It is not racism. Everything cannot be blamed on race. Most of the issues that we are seeing is behavior. It's the lack of emotional maturity. It is the refusal to self-reflect. And quite frankly, it is exhausting. I think we're all exhausted at this point. So when it comes to tipping, a lot of people don't probably understand what it actually is. Tipping is not just a thank you. It is not a bonus. In America, tipping is literally a part of the economic structure for restaurant workers. It's how we secure quality service, how we get priority when it's busy, and honestly, it's how people survive. Now, do I think that it should be the customer's responsibility? No, not necessarily. Tipping should be the restaurant's job, and wages should be fair. Benefits should exist. I've seen restaurants try to slap on healthcare or living wages charges on the receipt, and honestly, I get it. That is a fair argument of why you shouldn't want to tip or pay for these things. But here's the part that people love to ignore. That's just not how America works. Other countries, sure, tipping isn't so much of a thing. But this is not France. This is not Japan. This is America. And tipping is how we do things here. And it's a part of our culture. It's a part of our system. And it's a part of how we show up for one another in the real world. So when people say it's not my job to pay your wages, you're not wrong, but you're not helping either. You want to change it? Cool. Fight for policy, push for reform, but don't punish the people working inside the system just because you don't like the system itself. Because a lot of the time, the person you are shortchanging, they are Black, they are brown, they are white working class people. They are not oppressors. They are the ones that's trying to make it through a day. And what makes all of this worse is that sense of entitlement. Black people showing up expecting the VIP treatment, the extra napkins, the birthday theatrics, the split checks, the energy, the urgency, the personal show, but then leave $3 on a $100 tab. And when somebody calls it out, the response is always the same. Yep, you guessed it. Racism. Or what about white people? They don't tip either. That is the default. That is the go-to line. And that is the excuse everybody clings to like it's supposed to erase the behavior. But let me say this loud. That is not a rebuttal. That is a distraction. That's like saying, well, other people were stealing too. Why should I get arrested for robbery? It doesn't change the facts. You commit a crime, you're going to go to jail. And the same thing with this. If you don't tip, okay, you're going to be put in that box of Black people that don't tip. So let's just go with the facts. The Washington Post surveyed 1,000 servers across America and asked them their real life experiences with customers. Here's what they found. 34% of servers said Black diners were very bad tippers. 36% said Black customers were below average. That's 70% total. Almost 3 out of 4 are saying that we don't tip well. Now let's take a look at the white customers. 98% of servers said that white patrons were average or above average tippers. So you don't call this a stereotype. This isn't made up. This is an experience. This is math. And to be clear, this conversation is not just about a few dollars. It is about the culture of entitlement that wants luxury service without reciprocity. It's about the people who want that top tier treatment while offering the bottom shelf behavior. And it's about the community that keeps pointing fingers instead of looking in the mirror. Because no, tipping shouldn't be your responsibility. But right now in this system, it is. And every time you stiff your server in the name of rebellion, you're not fighting the system. You're hurting your neighbor. And quite frankly, the behavior is disgusting. The logic is dumb. And the working class Americans are paying for it. So I already know what the response is going to be. Why are you always taking up for white people? Why are you always belittling black people? Why do you hate your own people? Let me make this clear. I do not hate black people. I hate what we've allowed ourselves to become, because this is not about white people. This is not about servers. This is about us. The black community has a real cultural problem, and we've been running from it for way too long. We need to address this. Every time someone holds up a mirror, we scream they're picking on us. They hate us because we're black. It's because I'm blackity black black. No, it's because the behavior is loud, the mindset is broken, and the excuses are exhausting. We are watching a level of degeneracy run wild in our culture, and instead of addressing it, we defend it. We throw tantrums, we deflect, we scream racism and shame anyone brave enough to say something that everybody clearly sees. But let me say this loud for the ones in the back. Everyone is not lying on us. We are the ones proving the stereotype to be true. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Stereotypes do not come out of thin air. They come from patterns, they come from repetition, and they come from behavior. And this tipping conversation is just one example of that pattern. Because truth be told, this was never just about tipping. Tipping is a symptom. The real disease is pride without humility, entitlement without self-awareness, and performance without principle. And what makes it even worse, we don't want to fix it. We want to argue about it. We've built a culture where disrespect is normal, accountability is offensive, and truth is treated like an attack. We've become so emotionally fragile that correction feels like violence. And the second anybody calls out dysfunction, we label them racist, anti-black, or self-hating, all to avoid just looking in the mirror. So let's cut the crap. This is not about a 15% tip. It's about the fact that we keep co-signing dysfunction and calling it culture. But again, this is not about white people. It's not about stereotypes. It's not about the system. It is about us. Because while we're over here throwing fits about being judged, our public image is being dragged through the mud by our own behavior. Nobody is coming back to save the black community. Nobody is coming to fix it. That is our job. So the bottom line is, if you got money to eat out, you've got money to tip. If you want respect, then start acting like someone who deserves it. And if you don't like what people are saying about us, don't change the subject, change the behavior. I am Carmen Jaycee. I do not need anyone's permission to tell the truth. I appreciate you guys being here. I love you guys so much. Make sure you guys get your alligator Alcatraz gear from the Mark Dice store. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.
Conscious culture, we awaken and we learn. Fire in our spirits, watch the system as it burns. Question every lesson, let the real truth return. We break the mold, and now it's our turn.